Okay folks, welcome back. What I'm doing right now is I'm doing the feathering in the back, and I did some of this before and I kind of got ahead of myself here. What you want to do is you want to draw these feathers on. Let me bring this up. You want to draw the pattern out first, okay, on both sides, and I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you do 5 on this side, 5 on this side, and you loop it up and around. And what we did, what I did before, is you take your knife and you follow that and notch that corner out, okay, of each corner first. Then you go back and then you carve. I did some of this offline because it was just a little easier for me to handle offline than online. You just want to cut, you want to put a stop cut in, okay, put a stop cut in, and then take your knife and cut it out, cut up to the stop cut, and do each feather that way. I was debating whether I wanted to wood burn the feathers or not. I'm going to wood burn first the major feathers, which would be this portion and the side. Now I'm going to do the side here shortly, and this consists, well, let me finish this up. And then on the back portion, which I'm still working on, because this feather is on top, this feather is on the top, so this would be opposite. These would lay this way over, while these lay over this way, okay? And it just gives a little more realism to the project. I'm going to show you here in a little bit. I did a turkey a long time ago. I'm going to show you that when I'm done with this one. Show you the difference what a few years can make. Okay, so once you do that, what you want to do is you want to put another stop cut, just like we did on the other. Okay, it's a little challenging here in the back because it curves inward. There's like a scoop out here, so you may have to use a little gouge or a flat little chisel type to do it. But what I normally do is I do the top portion first. I just nick that out, just like so. Well, I thought it was like so. There we go. Maybe that knife just isn't sharp enough yet. Let's see what I have here. Yeah, hang on just a second. Okay. I'm just going to notch each corner out first, just to show you what it's supposed to look like. And what you want to do is you just want to follow that line all the way up. I'm going to do some of this offline because it's a little difficult for me to see it. See how I'm following that line up? Just like that. See? You're going to do the same thing over here. You're going to take it and take that line right up. Alright? And then same thing here. You're going to follow that line all the way up. Okay, see how we have that different. You can go back with one of these type of chisels or a flat one. I had one here. One of these here, and go back and clean it up a little bit, you know, and smooth it out if you like. Or you can even use part of that edge to take care of that. Alright? So you can go back and forth until you have that smooth to a point where you're happy with it. You know, you want to just be very careful that you have control over that gouge if you're going to use this to scoop it out. I'm going to sand this when I'm all done anyway. And what I use for sanding are these great nail files. You can buy these at the dollar store. They don't cost a lot of money. I was debating whether to sand it and all that, and I'm going to take a little more time in doing this project simply because I think we can make it a little bit nicer with a little more time. And if you don't have a wood burner, that's fine. Then you can just do this portion and paint it like we will be painting it. You can paint it brown and put your white lines for the tail and all that. But if you have a wood burner, then I would suggest, if you want to follow along, that's fine too. But what we're doing here is I'm cleaning it up a little bit. But what you want to do is you want to make sure that you get this on the right side. Let me flip this around. It's really tough to get in here, and that's a little bit of a challenge for me, trying to get in here a little bit. Alright, I'll do these two when I'm offline, when I have a little better view of it. I don't want to nick out the end. But one thing I want to share with you right now is, see how thick these feathers are, and here I have them looking like they're small. What that all is when you go in here to chop some of this out, okay, just like I did there, you're going to round this off a little bit at the top here. You've got to be mindful how that grain's running. See how I just got that thinner? Same thing here. What you want to do is you just want to chop a little more off on the one side and then trim it on the other side, just like so. And if you have to redefine that line, you could just go back and redefine that line. Okay, see how we've got that going? Okay, and then you do the same thing with the other side here of the feather, the one coming underneath. Okay, you just kind of round it off the feather a little bit so it looks like it's going underneath. Okay, this one's on top and this one comes out from underneath, and you do that all the way down. So it really, a lot of it's perspective and understanding how the feathers are laying. Okay, if you don't understand how those feathers lay, it's going to be a little more difficult to understand how to do this. You just have to think of how things are layered when you clean up the end portion, because what you're doing is you're giving it the illusion of it laying on one on top of the other. And the same thing here. This is laying this way and this way, but when you look at the front, it's laying the opposite way. Okay, so that's all that's involved with that. I did have these on here a little bit better before, and so I'm going to go back and put these back on. And I want to share something here with putting feathers on. Actually, these feathers are going to go all the way down to the bottom. I looked at a couple of pictures and they have feathers all the way down to the bottom pretty well. This isn't proportioned perfectly, of course. It's just more of a comical type of turkey, and we're just going to make sure it looks like a turkey when we're done. Okay, I'm going to show you something here about these feathers. I'm going to put them on here a little darker so you can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to teach you how you can make it look a little different than a layered look. And I shared this once before, but I'm going to show you how that works. Okay, when you do feathers, let me see if I can bring this up. When you do feathering like this, the short little feathers, and then you put another row underneath it, it begins to look like a shingle. Okay, we don't want it to look like a shingle. So what you do to break that up is you put a feather on top of a feather, or underneath a feather underneath another feather. And see how that breaks it up? Okay, and then you do another one, maybe another feather under over another feather. You kind of do that constantly. Every so often you just put one feather on top of the other. See how it broke that up, that it's not the same? So when you go to burn your feathers, okay, they're not going to look like a shingle look. And that's kind of what we're going to do here. I'm going to take the wood burner and I'm going to burn these in. I'm not going to really cut these out. I was going to cut these out, but for the sake of some time here, I'm just going to draw these on just like so. Alright, and that's going to stay on there like that. And see, it doesn't have quite that shingle look because I kind of have this one overlapping too. So that's one way to learn how to do this. I'll be right back.